Well, happy freaking Tuesday, friends, and
Sup,
happy
sup.
April. Happy Andor month. Officially, finally happy The Last of Us Season 2 month, y'all. Hence the theme of tonight's episode. We are freaking in for it emotionally, and we are going to have to be shipping all of our individual therapy bills to Disney Plus and the folks at Max for what is to come. The emotional
Yep.
storm, the reckoning in store. We're gonna just get pummeled. Is there anything in May? What is next after these two shows on the docket? We know there's Visions Volume 3. But what is next aside from these this year? Because these have been the main two. It's like, holy shnikes, what are we gonna have to live for after Last of Us and Andor? I'm sure I'm forgetting. I am sure I'm forgetting some things. But what's next?
I don't know.
We're getting front loaded all in
I don't know.
April, and then what's left for the rest of the year? What are we gonna emotionally recover with?
GTA 6,
Um,
hopefully, at some point
Allegedly, those of
on the gaming
y'all
side.
who've been watching Daredevil, apparently you're already in the thick of it emotionally, from what I've seen from some people's chats here on these streams talking about that show. Still unbeknownst to us, but welcome. Thank you all so much for being here. Shout out to everybody holding it down in the pregame chat, all the OGs, all the usual pals, and especially a shout out to Sal, who is going to be hopefully catching this in his rewatch later. But thank you so much. A pre-stream super chat. Can't watch live. Love Andor and Last of Us hype. Also, John Wick 5, Donnie Yen Kane film, and animated prequel announced. Let's go. We'll watch later. May the force be with you. And yes, I just actually, Sal, if it weren't for you, I would not have known about this. And I just wanted to take a hot second because you are right. I had no idea this was breaking news, hot off the freaking presses. But it's no joke. This is from Deadline, and if you search John Wick, all of the Variety, Hollywood Reporter, everybody's chomping at the bit because allegedly, sorry, almost just accidentally.
Chomping at the what?
Never mind. Chomping at the bit. Forget what word originally came out of my mouth there, misspoke. But John Wick isn't dead. He is so not dead that Lionsgate is literally exploiting the franchise at full tilt with an animated version, a Donnie Yen directed Kane character spinoff, and yes, of course, a John Wick Chapter 5 with Keanu Reeves returning to star, and of course, their director returning as well. And on top of all of this, Ballerina, I believe, which is a spinoff film series. Is that a film or a series? I think it's a film. The one with Ana de Armas.
That's a film.
Yes.
It says right there in the bottom paragraph.
Oh, yes. They finally started releasing some marketing for that as well. So
Wow.
the John Wick universe is freaking alive and well, and clearly
This isn't
so
April
is the.
Fool's.
Wait,
April Fool's lies.
do you think it could be?
Is it confirmed? I don't know. I don't look at anything news related on April 1st because
No. Please, no. No, they're saying this went down at Lionsgate's Beefy CinemaCon presentation.
Yeah, beefy. They're using the adjective beefy in their article.
No, don't
I'm just
extinguish
questioning.
my
It might be
hype.
real. It might be real, but
I'm going to choose to believe. Okay, listen. I will be the first one. And there are so many shows or franchises that I've gotten heavily invested in where I have willingly self-sabotaged and dropped off when I thought that it was getting too carried away, too out of hand. Example, Exhibit A, I'm so sorry, Grey's Anatomy. That show was my life. That show was my life source. In my early college days, it was the only thing getting me through. I was addicted to the max capacity addiction to Grey's Anatomy. That show's verging on 20 seasons now. I've lost track. Sometimes you just have to jump ship, and it just happens. It happens to all of us. Something could go from being your favorite, and then you just accept, like, this has just spawned into something beyond my levels of interest, and you grow out of it, and it's fine. and you can still look back fondly, and sometimes it doesn't go that way, and you don't part on solid terms. I think this is the case for example, the Walking Dead franchise. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm putting words in the fandom's mouth, but I feel like people remark on that like they should have stopped while they were ahead because there were stronger seasons earlier in the show, and then it just, speaking of a franchise that has 50 spin-offs and whatnot, I've heard that some of the spin-off editions are pretty good, but the way I hear people talk about that show, it's like, yes, they should have stopped, and then they kept drawing it out, and then you start to lose your luster. That will never, and quote me now, let the record show, that will never be the case for John freaking Wick. Pull a Deadpool and Wolverine and dig out his grave and bring him back into the fight, because
it's the same thing as like Bruce Wayne in Dark Knight Rises, where they have a funeral for him and he's dead, but he's really alive and just living his life free of the high table and free of everything, so he's truly free. Like he's not actually in that grave.
They seized that opportunity to stage his death because that's the only way he could ever get out.
Yeah.
Because the other alternative was he deleted. He deleted Bill Skarsgård. He defeated the highest representative of the high table. Therefore, by transitive property, would that responsibility not fall onto him? I totally forget the politics of how that final duel between them worked out in John Wick 4. But that certainly wouldn't be something he wants. No freaking way. He wants to absolve himself and wash all that freaking blood off his hands. Even though it may be impossible, he wants nothing to do with the freaking high table or anything about that establishment of that whole life. So the only way truly for him to get out is to either become them or delete himself. Control, Alt, Delete, fake your death.
Yeah. And this is legit, apparently. I just went and looked, and it's all over the internet. So
yes!
This is not, from everything I can tell, not April Fool's.
That is ballsy that they released it on this date.
Legitimate. This is legitimate news here.
This is real.
Allegedly.
Oh my god, I'm so freaking excited now. I am, when it comes to John Wick, I don't know what the frick it is. They could make John Wick 38. There could be a bajillion installments of... Oh great, our computer's overloading. Sorry if the stream's getting choppy, y'all. Oh no! Our page is unresponsive. Oh great. Oh, come back. That is not a flattering freeze frame. Oh good. Yeah, sorry y'all. Computer wants to not work today, so if you lost us there temporarily.
Because you've got a million things open.
Yeah, that's not my fault. That's yours. You left all those tabs open, Mr. Coding. Those are all your tabs. I just didn't want to close them out because I don't know what I'm doing.
You hit X and close them.
No, I don't want to accidentally delete precious. Anyway, y'all. Julian, member for 38 months.
It looks fine. I'm watching it. It looks fine.
Thank you so very much. Yes, apologies if there were any freaking delays or choppy bits there, but we seem to be in the clear. No, never mind. Encoding overloaded. So this could be doomed. We'll see. But thank you so much, Julian. Hi, Kat. Hi, Tom. Sorry I can't be here working late. So there's been talk in Disney that they might do a second season of Acolyte. I am slow to trust. Y'all know how I am. I feel like, yes, there's been constant buzz, constant surgence from, the fans who've been campaigning for this show to get a second season, especially after the truth was revealed that at one point in time Acolyte was like the most streamed show on Disney Plus. It had high viewership, unlike, the narrative that they were trying to spin, which I will 1000% come out and say, my personal opinion, I didn't believe for a hot second that the alleged cancellation, which I don't know if it was ever actually even confirmed to be canceled. I don't think anyone from Disney or Lucasfilm formally even used that word. I think that was just obviously for internet buzz and for the discourse online, but I don't think anyone actually related, showrunners, anyone, I mean, I guess for lack of a better way to describe it, yeah, you could say it was canceled, but I think the Disney approach was that they never had anything in the works anyway for a second season. So regardless, I'm slow to trust. I feel like that would be a huge backtrack on their end that I think is just unrealistic. Granted, if there's enough fan-generated passion and persistence for a second season, maybe it could be strong enough, to inspire that. Yes, I will believe it when I see it, as Charlie says. That's my motto. That is how I roll. And Emery's is confirming that news about the Acolyte came out a few days ago, so that is not an April Fool's. I haven't engaged in any of it. I've seen the whispers in the wind, some reignited discussions about it online. But I will believe it when I see it, but I think it's already, I don't know. Do you think, I just feel like they would never backtrack like that and renew it. I think that's a bad look. Decades later.
It took them a long time to do it, but they did it with the Clone Wars. They canceled the Clone Wars, and then they brought it back for its final season.
That's fair.
So it's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to take some time, but if the pressure and the numbers show that Acolyte is in high demand over a period of time, then yeah. Never say never. It could happen.
Charlie makes a good point too. Yeah, Manny Jacinto, he's going to be a big presence at a celebration, and there's going to be a panel with him, and he might let something slip out. But even, I'm sure, if there's an outpouring, which I'm sure there will be, now that the show has been released, they were just teasing it at the previous celebration, so now people can fully cosplay and represent, which I'm sure a lot of people will be, because there is such strong vitriol for that show from certain fans, but the passion, I think, is even stronger from the people who love it, because that they're actually watching it. They're not just hate watching it or not watching it at all just so that they can grift on their stupid YouTube channels. I think that, the passion completely outweighs. That's been one thing that has been amazing to see since the show was canceled. I've never seen such a strong... Book of Boba Fett didn't get that treatment. Granted, no one ever came out and said, oh, Boba Fett's canceled. No one ever came out and said there was never this cancellation rumor about Book of Boba Fett. It's just not happening.
Where
they could have left. There was no... They don't, I don't think, went into that show saying that it was only going to be one season.
They saved Mos Espa.
There could have been more, though. What else is he doing? You're telling me there's not going to be any other trouble or conflict?
I don't know. I don't know what
he's doing. I
don't know what he's doing.
All I'm saying is there was never any outright explicit, like, oh, it was canceled, hardcore discussion surrounding Book of Boba Fett. So granted, it didn't get the same treatment, but a show like Acolyte, when that news dropped, that's been maybe the one blessing to come out of all of it. Like, the passionate fans have stayed passionate, and are continuing to keep it trending. Honestly, I see every other week somebody tweeting about Acolyte, or people finally just watching the show for the first time, voicing their confusion as to how it could have gotten canceled. So I will believe it when I see it, but I'm not going to take any bait right now. There's too much going on. There's too much already in the works. So
yeah, what's the topic of the stream?
The emotional heartbreak that is awaiting us this month, hence too much going on. We've got Andor and Last of Us back to back. Not even like a little bit of a break between those two, just like emotional sucker punch from both ends.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys in the comment section, I've garnered that many of you guys are predicting that not a lot of folks are going to make it out, are going to survive Andor season 2.
It's not. That's a pretty conservative prediction.
Oh, wow.
Sacrifice.
Yes, that's a huge undercurrent, a huge theme of the show. I don't know, I've just been trying to embrace the mindset that not everyone's going to die to explain their absence in Rogue One, but a lot of people seem confident that this is about to be... Yeah. This is about to be Red Wedding levels of losing our favorite character.
No, they're all dead. They're all dead.
Okay, you're gonna have to
sacrifice? Everything. Luthen.
It's pretty, signed, sealed.
They're all making the ultimate sacrifice.
Signed, sealed, delivered for him. I don't know. is this wrong for me to think that, like, I guess, because if Luthen is such a power player, he would be there in Rogue One, I would imagine. Don't you think?
Yeah, he's not, because he's dead.
Granted, he's also someone who is puppeteering from the wings. Now, that was season 1 Luthen. Season 2 Luthen might be gloves off, actually boots on the ground. I'm not so sure. But Luthen that we know hides behind his facade, his disguise, and operates from backstage while everybody else is typically on the front lines.
Yep.
He's still in the line of fire. Any slip up, any mistakes at all. And we see him taking risks in season 1 that could expose them. Clea has to be the one to tell him, turn the freaking radio off. You've already been listening for too long. Like, are you trying to get us discovered? Like, she has to pull him out a lot of the time, I feel like. So I wonder if in season 2 he's going to have more of a hands-on. Now that everyone's going to be more, they're like all hands on deck now, I feel like. They're not trying to be so secretive. The rebellion, at least, I think, in their attacks, they're not trying to randomize them. Like, their presence is known, so I feel like they have the luxury now of they can make a bigger scene.
Yeah, well, they've come out of the shadows with Aldhani, and the whole ISB Imperial response is, okay, we need to squash this, but, and then now that they're all out of Narkina 5, and the uprising on Ferrix and everything that happened there, like, it's just been a crescendo of season 1, leading up to, yeah, go big or go home in season 2 over the span of 4 years.
Go big or go home. That's a good way to put it.
And then the ultimate go big is what happens in Rogue One. They love the Death Star.
Nick
Not blow up the
Gundy
Death
has
Star.
joined.
Get the plans and then blow it up in A New Hope.
John and Nick have joined. Welcome, friends. Thanks for being here. And shout out everybody. We got our usual squad. Charlie, Sean, Ty Saban, Alice, the Queen, of course. Stanley's, Emery's. I think I saw Jerry at one point. Yes, we have all of our OGs up in here. So sorry we didn't do usual introductions today because we were getting right into the John Wick breaking news. And Ty mentioned something. I've been hearing great things about this adolescence show. Yes, completely different subject. We've been watching it, and speaking of similarly emotionally damaging, I started it because I'm seeing everybody talking about it online. So word of mouth, and of course it's the #1 trending thing on Netflix, but I'm finding it really hard to watch. It is hitting a nerve.
Yeah, I've fallen asleep in every single episode.
Now, yes, it's literally hard for you to watch because you keep falling asleep. For me, I find it emotionally, like mentally, really hard to watch.
Yeah. The parts I've watched, it is good. It is good.
It is, yeah. And especially after, even in spite of I'm sure if you've heard through the grapevine or seen online, the episodes are all shot in one take, similarly to the film 1917 that came out a few years ago. It's extremely impressive. So, but even after you get over that, the premise, the storyline, it's so real and visceral. It just makes you feel like you're back in freaking middle school or high school. And if you're like me, those were some of the worst years of your freaking life. Until I met you, like literally until, I had a great group of friends and whatnot. Like high school, honestly, the last 2 years of high school were maybe some of the better of my school years. But everything from 6th grade until then, like, blocked out from my memory. So watching this, and it deals with middle school children, I'm like, that was honest to God the worst time of my mother freaking life. So maybe that's why it's hard to watch. But it's definitely great. I suggest, it's only 4 episodes. So if you're in the mood to add to the emotionally damaging menu that we already have on the roster for this month, like, what are we gonna do? So to segue to Last of Us as well, we're gonna just jump back and forth. We finished our rewatch of season 1.
Yep.
Which I'm glad that we did.
Yep.
And honestly, it was harder to watch the second time around, I feel like. Like, I don't know. Having been removed from it for so long and then getting back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think at least like if you knowing what happens in the game and knowing what happens going into the show, I think that like the first time watching through the show, like some of the things that they added, like to build the suspense and seriousness of the state of the world, like I think that initial feeling went away a little bit watching it the second time. Um, but the watching it again, like the heavy hitting emotional parts that happen, the main story beats that happen, like that is still always going to hit and still always going to be emotionally heavy. So, which it was. Like we just finished watching and it was. And for those who are looking to see what happens in the second game, if you go to McBot's YouTube channel, just finished a whole playthrough there of Last of Us Part 2, the video game. So it's like, I don't know, 16 to 20 hours. It's 8 different parts. But they're all up on that YouTube page. If you don't know what happens in the second game, and you want to know what happens before the second season of HBO shows out,
but you don't want to play through it and subject yourself.
But you don't want to play through it yourself, you can go check that out. Go rewatch it. So, yeah, very, very, very interesting to see what happens with the second season here.
I'm almost like more nervous.
Yeah.
Now there's also something. When did season 1 come out? Was that 2021 or 22?
2, I think. I think it's been 2 years. It might have even been 3. 2023.
Maybe. I was gonna say, watching it back, I was like, it was obviously closer to 2020 in the timeline when that show was released. Here we are, it's 2025, so it's been a long, hot minute, and the world has, for the most part, many people, just it's business as usual. It's back to 2023 or 2022. Okay, we're getting different answers up in here, so I don't know. It was 23. If it was 2023, it was like January. It was very early.
Yeah.
What's up, Steve? Hello.
Steve.
So yeah, like fresh off of 2022. So that's why I registered as that. But that's still, that period of time was still fresh off the pandemic. Like, it's still, watching that show was so chilling. The timing of its release, coming off the tails of everything, world events that were current at that time, like rewatching it, I was like, how were we able to watch this coming off of like this? It didn't feel that fantastical or dystopian compared to the real life crazy shiz that was going on at the time. So that was really like alarming watching this second time around, because I was like, I was like, oh my god, none of this is, I'm like, this is really terrifying. It's like, it almost, maybe that's why it felt more terrifying, because we weren't living in the midst of something like that. It's like, oh, this is really scary. And then I was like, oh, that maybe I just couldn't even register that, because it was just reality at the time when it came out. It was like, yep, global chaos, global something. I don't know. It was a different experience this time, I feel like, just because of the current events that were swirling at the time. But I think it hit even harder, even though I was more braced for it. I think what we're just not braced for is what the internet is going to be like. We're all going to be living it, because we're all going to be, if we're going to be at Celebration. The timing is going to be so freaking crazy, y'all. We literally have The Last of Us, then we're flying to Japan, then we have
that comes out
Celebration.
Is it?
We fly back to the United States.
Oh, that's Sunday night, right? It doesn't.
It's the Sunday before we depart.
Yeah.
We fly back to the United States, and then freaking Andor. We are not going to be able to catch our breath.
We'll have to do a Last of Us episode 2 reaction from Tokyo.
No, I'm gonna be so freaking tired. That is gonna have to be on the back burner. But humans, greatest monsters of all. Well, isn't that one of the freaking biggest morals of The Last of Us Season 2? I think that's going to be an especially heightened theme going into the second season. And it's a bit of a different world because, like you were saying, when you were playing through, like the threats in the game, you fight clickers nowhere near as many times as you fight actual humans. I feel like.
Yeah, the second game, there's way less infected you got to fight. It's way more humans, the other factions in the game.
Yeah, so. Which I feel like is also just indicative of the time period in the game, you know, where they are at that point in time, like just less infected, sure. Maybe life has retained some form of normalcy again, or like they're trying to claw humanity back, but after you discover the different sects, sects, I can't freaking say that word, the different...
You just said it.
Not well. I don't know why. I had to spell it out so everyone knew what I was saying. But after you discover all the different niches of humans and what people have done to survive, raiding, enslaving each other, all the different cults and whatnot, just preying upon way more humans, says Emery's. Yep. That is the game. Oh, Time makes a good point. Isn't Japan like 24 hours ahead of us? Yeah, the episode's gonna be releasing like like
that's true.
Monday. We're gonna be like true. At Celebration.
No, it'll be Monday. We'll be traveling back here.
Oh yes.
Because it's a day ahead. It's like 9 hours, I think, back from LA time. So like right now it's 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So it is probably 9:30 a.m. Japan time, but April 2nd.
Yeah, that jet lag is going to be crazy.
It'll be
rough.
Like noon on Monday. No. It'll be Monday.
That's all we know.
When it comes out. So
we won't even be able to react to it. Yeah. We'll figure it out. It's the excitement has been building, y'all, but it's also like the craze of the absolute just influx of content and whatnot that we are about to get, especially with 3-episode Andor releases. That's going to be crazy. Like there's gonna be so much chomping at the bit, but it's gonna be a wild. It's literally embracing for impact. It's gonna be like that September of, was that 2023 or 2022 when it was House of the Dragon and Andor and Rings of Power. Yep. It was just like boom, boom, crazed.
Yep. True. It'll be good.
Yep.
It'll be good. Lots of good stuff.
Yes. Lots to look forward to, but that's why I'm like, okay, what's next in the queue? Does anybody know? Because we're gonna be beat the frick up mentally and emotionally from all these shows. We're gonna go from
6.
the last. Is that coming out this year?
It's supposed to in the fall. Grand Theft Auto 6 supposed to come out in the fall.
Oh, okay.
Fingers crossed that holds. We're allegedly supposed to get the second trailer here sometime.
Hasn't that been rumored for the past like 4 months?
It's been like that for a long time.
Yes. Yeah, every week it's been like, new GTA trailer? No. Never. Did we download the Celebration app? Not yet. I've not downloaded it yet. Oh. There is, which I'm excited for, that you can
you put all your tickets in there?
Organize, no? I think so.
Oh, nice.
You can have your schedule and whatnot.
Cool. That'll be good.
But yes, maybe next week's episode, since I know there's not been a lot going on aside from the anticipation and the build up for all of these major events approaching mid-April. So we've just kind of been pre-gaming and hyping up Andor and Last of Us for the past few weeks, because there hasn't been much else to discuss. But maybe next week for Dork Discourse, we'll I want to get a feeler for what you guys want to see. Like, if you're unable to be there, of course, we know it's such a huge privilege that we're able to go. So we can be your eyes and ears, you know, what you most want to, I don't know, what you would most like to see just documented, like whatever. I guess just we'll try to capture as best we can a day in the life at Celebration and do our live streams afterwards. But we can further discuss that. Actually,
we can come up with our content schedule.
Yeah. We already have so many schedules. Y'all, we're gonna be exhausted. I'm already like
the
exhausted
schedule is
thinking
show
about
up,
it.
see stuff, take pictures, get stuff signed, buy stuff, stream, vlog.
Not go broke.
Bang, bang, bang.
That's major.
That's it. And speaking of stuff, it's now time to take a break from the official sponsor of the stream.
Oh my gosh. Which one are you? Well, I'm sure he's gonna drag out one of our latest completed jackets. The Godzilla Hotel. Oh, that's on our list as well, Ty. Don't you worry. That's like the #1 thing.
Here's the latest jacket in the Catherine LaSalle Incorporated.
This one's for
jacket
Tom.
Expedition.
Dang, I gotta say, can I say,
Team
y'all?
Empire here.
That looks really good on camera. I am not gonna lie. I'm so salty because I want to. For some reason, I'm happy with the jackets that I painted for myself, but the ones I've made for Tom, like the Vader one and now this, I'm like, I want to steal these.
Yeah. So for those who might not know, Catherine is making us custom decked out, hand painted jackets for Celebration. 5 are down. The one that I will say, the one that is drying in the other room is pretty good.
You think Tom's happy about it?
But so, Kat here is putting her art to the back of the jacket. And for those who are interested and are inspired and would like your own custom Kat jacket, there will be custom ordering added to CatherineLaSalle.com. Very, very soon. So once all these jackets are out of the way, then everybody who's interested can order their own.
I'm glad that you guys like it.
Make it for you.
Y'all are being so nice. And thank you to those. I know that they've not been performing fabulously, but those who've watched the little vlogs that I've uploaded and whatnot, thank you. Thank you very much. You might have noticed in those vlogs I said that the first jacket I painted, which was my Ahsoka one, it took me 7 days to do it. I was in way over my head, so I was like panicking that I wasn't gonna have time to my initial game plan. I wasn't gonna be able to fulfill my original goal, which was to have a jacket for each of us for the full 3 days, a different jacket, so 6 jackets total. But I'm pleased to report jacket number 5 is drying in the other room right now. So we have 1 jacket left, and it's going to be for Tom. It is a dark blue. It literally looks identical to the Levi's that you saw if you watched the Revenge of the Sith video. That jacket with Anakin painted on the back. So we have 1 left for Tom. Thinking we want to do Mandalorian themed, but throw out some ideas, y'all.
Yeah.
If you're interested, but I think you're leaning towards Mandalorian Grogu something with the helmet.
What about like a completely shredded Grogu? Like jacked, like ripped Grogu.
That would certainly get attention.
Because I'm thinking, like, I think a Grogu jacket would be cool. And the tapping into maybe the biggest panel at Celebration, which is Mandalorian and Grogu.
That's
true. It's the first one. So I feel like Mandalorian and Grogu might be the most built up panel. If you pick a main event of the whole Celebration, it's probably that. But Andor's probably second because the show literally comes out like 2 days later.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think having a Mando Grogu, or even like a giant Mando helmet and like Grogu in the reflection of the visor or something. Or just like literally the Rock's body, but it's green and Grogu's head is on it.
God.
I don't know.
Well, sound off, folks. If you have Alice, I like that when Grogu's saving them from the fiery explosion. Yeah. That could be
just
cool.
Be flames and Grogu in the foreground there.
That could be cool.
Standing there, yeah.
A little powerful Grogu doing his thing. Yeah, there's options here. I think look with the helmets. We thought about doing like Mando's helmet, Bo-Katan's, the armor. This design is still very, very much up in the air. These last two jackets, I kind of was just winging it for the one I finished for myself. And that's what we're going in with. These last two, I haven't had much of a plan because I mentally was resigned to like, Reach only gonna have one jacket to wear. But I put pedal to the metal, y'all.
I also think like Grogu eating the frog babies.
Yeah, you're really fixated
Grogu,
on that
like
one.
with the blue macarons floating around in the background.
Oh, that could be
and the
cute.
frogs, all the things he eats. You could have Grogu with like smiling, and then it's like macarons and the frogs, the little tadpoles.
All the things he eats.
Yeah.
Everything on Grogu's menu.
Could do that.
Maybe. Perhaps.
Or Sith Grogu.
No! That'd be tragic.
Grogu with lightning coming out of his fingers and Sith eyes. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, that would certainly be attention grabbing.
And Din, like, dead behind him.
What the? Okay, no. That, I'm not gonna...
Grogu turns and slaughters Din Djarin.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Could you imagine? Especially, that could actually... Frick. You just planted a very sad thought in my mind, but that could make for incredibly tragic, yet compelling storytelling. Well, I was gonna say, Grogu knew that Din was there, correct? When Din shows up, he rendezvous with Ahsoka. They go to that island where Luke is trying to found his new little Jedi Academy, and Grogu's his first student. Luke made Grogu aware. Jesus Lord. That was a shocking tongue twister. He knew that Din had been there because he says, "This is from your friend. This is your little Beskar. And this is a lightsaber from me. Make your choice." So Grogu knew that Din had been there. Oh, I was gonna say, you just planted a really sad thought in my head of like, what if Grogu were to grow up to like resent Din and be like, I was stone cold ready to be a Jedi, and you had to just show up and ruin it, and they forced me to make a choice, and I chose you, but now I regret it. Like, what if? That'd be tragic.
Oh, I think if anything, he'd resent Luke.
No, I think so
turn to the dark
too.
side and get rid of Luke.
I think so too, and I just can never understand. I didn't think we'd be talking about Mandalorian, but here we are, folks. There could be potential emotional damage, who knows, in Mandalorian and Grogu, I don't know. Based on everything I've seen, it's not looking that way. If we're getting Rhoda the Hutt, played by what's-his-face, Jeremy Allen White, I feel like this could be anything but emotionally damaging, but you never know. But where the frick was I going with this? Yeah, no. Oh, yes. I don't understand. That's one thing, my biggest gripe. I feel like they kind of created this version of Luke that I don't understand how he literally saw all the undoings. Like, that's what he learned about, like, the Jedi leading to their own undoing because they had all these strict creeds that bred the monster that was his father. So why would he fall into the same freaking doctrines of forbidding companionship? And I'm gonna say it, I've said it before, hypocrite, fraud, red flag alert, because how's he gonna be out here telling Grogu, you're not allowed to have this companion in your life, when I've said this a million times, he has his sister, he has his nephew, who he trains, the Nepo baby Kylo Ren, he has Han Solo, his brother-in-law, like, he has all this familial connection that he got to establish. Unlike any other Jedi trained before him, any other Padawans, they're ripped away from any sort of familial roots beforehand so that they can't have any of those connections. So how is he out here operating perfectly fine, keeping and maintaining those connections? If he was a man of his word, he'd be like, yeah, I had to forsake my sibling, my best friend, all my family, everyone that I knew, to come out to this island to, you know, establish the academy, but that's the rules I'm gonna follow, and I'm gonna make the rest of you guys do too.
Well, he
No.
did when Kylo.
Well, that was him exiling himself.
Yeah, so he did do that.
Too late. I'm not saying that he should have done it ever.
We also don't know how in touch he is with all those familial attachments.
He
we don't
trained
know.
his
We
own
we don't know anything. Well, that's different. We don't know anything about how. I don't think he's on the phone with Leia and Han every single day, chit chatting, and he's not going on vacations with them. But like, we don't know. We don't know anything about Luke in this time period, other than he still has his X-wing and he knew how to find Grogu. And then he's training Grogu and building this Gogurt. He's training Gogurt at this island and building up this temple. But literally, we see him building up the temple, and then Grogu leaves, and then fast forward 35 years to The Force Awakens, and then he's on the island. It's like, we literally don't know anything about Luke.
About how much
other than he also trained Leia from The Rise of Skywalker. And then that didn't work out.
There's
but like, he gets the bypass of the family ties thing because his sister's Force sensitive and his nephew's Force sensitive.
Family for me, but not for thee. Like, that's what it came across as. I just hated that.
Dan's not Force sensitive?
No, I'm just saying, though. I just always... It shocked me.
Y'all
are right, though. Stanley says it perfectly. He's like, 99% of the Jedi are hypocrites in one way or another. And you're right. Unfortunately, I agree. Who said it there? Hopefully Rey fixes that. Yeah. I hope so, too. Because she's really seen, you know, Luke tried to fall into this one form of the Creed as well, and it drove him to ruin and to make terrible, awful decisions. So I hope that we see a version of the Jedi Order that she establishes that is just like reinvented. Like, none of all that, because she's seen every iteration and studied all the ways in which their creeds led to their demise. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see if she falls into the same freaking cycle and establishes an academy that is identical to, you know, the Jedi Order that we've seen fail. I'm gonna be disappointed. We'll see. But I'm shocked, frankly. Well, I guess none of those movies have been... They're all still in pre-production, so I guess there's nothing to really share from them in terms of developments at Star Wars Celebration and whatnot. Nothing's really advanced in the James Mangold film, the Rey film,
zilch,
or the elusive Dave Filoni film, which I think is still a thing that isn't Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know. But that's hilarious, though. How funny is it that they announced at the previous celebration 3 whole films, and then the only film that's being discussed at this celebration is one that came into the fray after.
It fits the trend.
Yeah, that's not
trend of announcing projects that likely never come to fruition, and then stuff creeps out of the woodwork and then gets made. Skeleton Crew, case in point. Yeah, they've teased all this exciting stuff, but it's not coming to fruition.
Charlie coming in off the top of ropes. You know what?
Charlie's
Amen.
Coming in hot.
Not that we could even get in. Thanks, panels. Charlie, you were not kidding. After we wrapped up last week's episode, after the travesty of the freaking queues to get in for all the panels, the comment section, people were so mad. Rightfully so. Here's the other thing, too. Is this common in the ways that they've done it in the past? When it comes to scheduling and navigating your schedule and planning for things, I know.
You've got a vendetta against Krennic.
These Funko Pops are just getting beat up. You schedule all your signings, so if you realize it's like, oh frick, I have this photo up, but it's happening at the exact same time as this panel that I got into, what's the purpose of that? I feel like they should have dropped that schedule. That way, it would have been less of a cluster frick if people were like, okay, I know that I have this photo up.
They deconflict with the main panels.
They don't?
They do.
That's what I'm saying.
So
some people have
so what?
photo ops that they probably bought, signed up for. Hypothetically, say they have a photo op on Sunday morning, and then they got a reservation for the Visions panel on Sunday morning.
I don't think that they do any of the photo ops or signings at the times of the major.
That's what
panels.
I'm asking, and you just said that they do conflict.
They de-conflict. De-conflict.
Oh,
I think.
Well,
but yeah, for all the other panels, like, yeah, if you see the whole panel schedule and you're like, oh, really excited about a panel that's not one of the main ones, and you have a photo op at the same time, then yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Like, I think, like, this rumored, I was talking about McBots, maybe on the Fortnite stream the other day, but there's the only Star Wars gaming thing that's happening, which is a real-time strategy game from Respawn and some other bit reactor. I think that panel, it's either Friday or Saturday afternoon. And I think that we have a conflict with, I think. I don't have it memorized yet. But anyway, like, that's a case where it's like, huh?
Just gotta invoke Sean's words there. Yeah, at least we're there. At least we are there. And that's what so many people have been saying online. Like, don't get beat up if you didn't get into a panel, because there's so much else going on. And there's going to be a bunch of other people who aren't in that panel either. You know, I imagine these auditoriums or whatever, the halls where these panels are hosted, it has limited seating for a reason. Mm-hmm. So the rest of us are all out there, you know, the rejects fending for ourselves. So it is going to be fun either way, and I'm just so freaking excited either way. Especially that I was actually able to finish these jackets, y'all. That was my one and only goal since, as I had confessed in my Ahsoka jacket video, maybe, you know, our Borgullet cosplay could have worked if we enlisted if we enlisted 20 other folks to operate that, but that would have been cumbersome and expensive. All roads lead back to...
And hot. We would have needed to put AC.
Yeah, we would have, you know, like those little fans. Yeah, so as I had expressed in my Ahsoka video, maybe at one point in time I envisioned that I would have more disposable income to, like, splurge on cosplay for Celebration, but no. Nope, not this time around. And so, this being the alternative option, very excited about Borgullet. You are almost there. We are, Sean, we are. But that's my goal, to pump out more content than I ever have, to the point that y'all are gonna be sick of me. I've been out here dormant, haven't posted on my Instagram since November. Freaking get ready, y'all. I'm about to be blowing that up. Get freaking ready to be so sick of my face. That's what's going to be happening.
What are you blowing up?
Everyone's Instagram feeds, because I'm about to be boom, 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 boom.
Instagram feed.
All day, every day.
YouTube community page feed.
Yeah.
TikTok feed.
Everything.
Shorts feed. X feed.
I still have Twitter. I never downloaded it.
You still haven't updated your app. So Twitter feed for her, X feed for the majority of us.
Updated.
But yeah, so for Andor, we gotta if they do show.
No, I have a typo. Sorry. Dang it. Ignore that typo, y'all. Which will be sad ear. I meant sadder.
What is sad ear? Which one is sad ear? Sad ear.
Ignore that, y'all. The Last of Us. Sorry, Alice. Yes. The Last of Us. TLOU. Last of Us Season 2. Both coming out in April. Both Seasons 2. Sick of you? Never. Oh, Alice. And Sean. We'd never be sick of you. Y'all say that. I'm about to test the limits. And yes, somebody was mentioning, I think it was Sean as well earlier, that I did pop into the Discord for the first time in freaking eternity. Wow. Last week during I was taking a break from painting, actually. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to navigate this. So I'm going to try to be more engaged on there. Everyone, you know it's bad when everyone was in, like, a complete shock. They were like, what are you even doing here? They were like, this isn't even your own server anymore. Get out. They were like, is it really you? That's how I know I have to remedy things. I felt so bad. I had messages from people like 3 years old that were like, I know you're never on here, but XYZ. And I'm like, oh, I'm the worst person alive. I know. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think you are.
I just don't know how to use Discord. Literally, genuinely, y'all, I feel like an 80-year-old who's like, what are these whippersnappers doing out on? How do y'all use Discord? Where do I tap? Where's my chat box? I genuinely don't know. I genuinely do not know, like, where my messages are or where the inbox is on there. Somebody in the server said it. They were like, you gotta it's trial by fire with Discord. You gotta just use it to figure it out. I was like, unfortunately, you're right.
You just type messages.
I know, but like where? There's so many different pages. There's a server, but then the server has a sub page.
Yeah, you created all those pages. Well, maybe I did on your
account.
I
think you probably did.
Yeah, you just type. Send GIFs.
You just type.
Send pics.
That's what I learned how to send a GIF.
And you can actually, like, it's way more advanced than that. Like, you can actually, like, play games and, like, stream straight from Discord.
Yeah.
There's, like, Discord, OBS, straight integration.
Yeah,
so, like, it's very powerful. If you want to play, like, games with other people and you don't have a console, you can use Discord. You can stream. Or, like, if you want to, like, have, like, a conference call stream, like, you can literally bring people in, voice and video, and then you could just stream that. And then, bang. You don't need, like, StreamYard or... like the McBot setup, like the Streamlabs, like conference call feature. Like you can literally just, if you have Discord, you send people a Discord link, they could go in with their voice and their video, and then you just stream that. So it is powerful. Discord is very powerful.
I gotta get on that.
But
my brain just broke.
At its basic form, it's literally just like a group chat.
Yeah. Now I noticed that when I finally logged on, I saw my mutual friends who were active at the time. And it would say, like, so-and-so is playing XYZ game. I was like, how? Where? Am I supposed to click on it and go watch? Like, are they streaming it on here? I felt, like, so ancient, y'all. That's half the reason I don't use TikTok either. I'm trying to make TikToks and shorts and reels of these jackets. You know, we've been posting the vlogs. That's what I've been saying, Tom. We need a game night on Discord, says Nick. Alice's brain is also exploding. We don't know what we're doing. But I've been trying to make these TikToks and shorts to plug the jackets and promote those on, you know, my other socials. And I was like, Tom, you need to just do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I need you to do this. And Tom was like, you know how to edit. And I'm like, not TikTok. No, that is where my brain becomes geriatric.
Chop it up with the song.
I can't do that.
You're very musically talented, so yes, you can.
I think it comes down to the same mindset. Like, have y'all ever seen this discussion or this, like, meme that goes viral on Twitter every now and then where it's like, I swear this is related, but for example, buying flight tickets, like, that is not something you do on your phone. You do that on your computer. Like, there is a generational divide. Like, everyone in Gen Z, like, younger generations, can just do stuff on their phones. Like, big life decisions. I need that on my desktop. I need full screen. I need my mouse, keypad. I can't. One wrong pinky finger and I'm done. If I'm trying to buy a flight ticket on my phone, it's the same logic of TikTok. It's like, I can't. How the frick can I trim this? I say this as somebody with baby hands. I'm not even like one of these people who's like, this is too small for me. No. I have smaller hands than most of the human population and I still am on there like, I can't. I need my computer.
I had no idea that this was something you deal with on a regular basis.
It's an entire
you learn something new every day.
Internet discussion.
You
haven't heard people like the discourse about that? Like,
no.
Some of y'all are out here buying flight tickets on your phone?
No, because I bought flight tickets on my mobile device.
Even when I panicked because, you know, to flash back to last week, the travesty of the freaking queues for celebration panels. I had the queue open on my computer and my phone to have, you know, multiple devices. And when the one on my phone went off, I was like, no, because I have to navigate this. But Twisted Bishop says it perfectly. Did my taxes on my phone while watching Netflix. Like, yeah, some of y'all have brains that can do that. I would need full spread out, my computer, silence. Like, some of y'all are just built different. So that's the same logic. It's like, I can't make TikToks because I need iMovie. I need, which isn't even like iMovie is the most bare bones, bare minimum editing software ever.
It's just the editing on TikTok. To be fair,
Yeah.
I don't really know how to edit on Shorts or anything.
Yeah.
I can do the TikTok editing interface. I'm pretty comfortable with. But the Shorts one is tough because I can't figure out how to like. There's the timeline section and you can see like all your layers on top of each other, but you can't move them. I don't know how to move them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a me problem, but TikTok is very easy.
We sound so geriatric.
Anyway.
We're like, we don't know what we're doing.
Anyway, so we got 50-50 even split off 12 votes for the Sadir poll. There's 19 people watching, so if we can get to 15 votes, then we'll have an odd number, and then we will not be 50-50 split anymore. So if you haven't voted in the poll, go ahead and vote.
I'm glad to see
TLOU is The Last of Us.
Everyone in this chat is doing their taxes. Good for you guys. Shout out to everybody up in here being responsible.
You're united. If you're a United States citizen, you're doing your citizen duty.
Shout out.
If you're not, then shame on you.
We're putting you in the same boat as Padme. If you're not.
Don't even. Don't even. Padme doesn't even. She doesn't do taxes, period, let alone phone or computer.
Alice in the same boat as you. I use an accountant for that. Yeah. I don't trust myself. Wouldn't know what I'm doing. Which will be saddier. You're correct, Matthew. I don't even know if I think... frick. I don't know. The Last of Us, we know what to expect. Andor could pull out all the stops, and this is the final season. I think The Last of Us is still going to have another season after this, or did they say that the entire game?
No, they said that it's going to be broken into two. This game's going to be split into 2 seasons.
Okay.
At least 2 seasons.
So
and Neil also said that it's not going to be like Ellie and then Abby like the game is. Yes. It's going to be more chronological, both of them at the same time. So which would make sense for a season.
Sal, thank you so much for popping in so that we can thank you personally for your super chat earlier. We had a whole segment where we talked about John Wick, which we would not have known about if it weren't for you. And Tom legitimately thought that it could be an April Fool's joke, but it was not. Thankfully, it's our pleasant surprise. Yep. So shout out and thank you for your donation. Yeah, so I feel like that's why Andor is the final. We know it's going to end and probably be tragic, and this is the final shebang. So like whatever stops there are, they're going to pull them all out.
Yeah.
Granted, the ultimate tragedy also, they got to save room for like everybody dies in Rogue One as well. So spoiler alert, sorry, in case you didn't already know. Yeah.
But the thing with The Last of Us in particular is that death is not just death. Death is tragic. And even in the first game, death was tragic. But then in the show, they were like, all right, how can we make these tragic deaths even more tragic? And they did that. So I would fully expect the same thing with season 2, where, these people die and it's tragic in the game. But then how is the show going to make their deaths even more tragic? More so than just dying. Like, everybody dies for a horribly, cripplingly sad reason.
True, nobody gets a fair death.
No. And so, like,
nobody dies of natural causes.
I mean, Rogue One, it's like they're all dying for the greater good, and it's like a sacrificial death, and it's like, true. Yeah, it's sad, but it's moving and it's motivational. The last stuff is just like weird, trying to rip your heart into a million pieces, and then put it through a paper shredder, and then put it through the garbage disposal, and then put it through an infirmary, and absolutely bring you devastation to your core.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
Granted, but the other point is we already know, like you said, we already know what happens in The Last of Us for those who played the second game or have watched replays.
Yeah, Andor could be,
but
we will see.
We don't know.
Granted, I also think I think there are more limitations with how dark and tragic and twisted they can make it, with it being a Disney Plus production versus Max, HBO, they can put you through way more of a ringer, I feel like. So
Yeah, it's
in
more
terms
mature.
of the trauma and the maturity of loss, I think it can be dialed up further. So who knows? But you do make a good point. Nobody just dies naturally in the Last of Us universe. But Twisted Bishop out here, I just wanted to acknowledge this wild proposition. I'm guessing that the first season of The Last of Us 2 is going to end on that event. Code word for if you know, you know. And that is bold. That is the first I've heard that take. But that could be wild. I feel like that they'd have to do a lot of drawing it out to end on that. But if that were to end on that,
I mean,
because isn't it only 6 episodes too, right?
I don't know. If they truly did it like fully chronological, where like all because in the game it's like it starts almost close to that event, and then you get like flashbacks and backstory all with Ellie, and then you start playing as Abby, and then you get flashbacks and backstory with Abby. Like if they just did it purely chronological, and all those flashbacks are like it just real time continues from the end of the season 1, then I feel like they'd have to do that to get that event be the end of season 1 of the show.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're still gonna keep it like roughly where it starts and then go forward, but instead of just Ellie, we'll get Abby at the same time, but that event I think will still happen pretty early in the season. My prediction is that the ending of the season, no, I don't think they could do that. That's too late. I was gonna say when like they have Abby and Ellie confront in the theater in Seattle, but at that point you've already gone through all 3 days of Seattle, and then you've just got like the fallout and Santa Barbara, and I think that that's too late. So I don't know where.
And they could expand
on. I don't know where they would draw the line.
We could get more of
Seattle day 2.5.
Because we were watching that. I wish I remembered the channel that we watched on. We watched this great interview with Neil Druckmann, talking more about how you have to navigate a show versus a game, because he was talking about the whole, the game creates empathy just inherently when you play as these people first person. So when you play as Abby, you feel for her, and so he was saying that a device that they have to rely on in the show version is elaborating on her backstory. So there could be a lot more like elaboration to draw out. Maybe it won't happen as Insidious is questioning. Maybe it happens in the first episode.
Yeah, that's what I think it still happens early on, because we've gotten the trailer, and we know in the trailer we see plenty of footage of stuff that's happening in Seattle. Like we even get like Ellie and Nora in the hospital, which I forget if that's Seattle day 1 or 2 in the game. I forget if it's Seattle day 1 or 2 in the game, but like we get stuff, and we get some Scar Island, not the island, but Scar footage, Seraphlite footage. It's like we know that there is plenty of Seattle content in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, but like, where do they draw it?
Now, one thing that's also interesting,
I don't know.
Season 1, there's a lot of traveling from one place to the next, and a lot of stuff happens along the way on the travel. Season 2 and part 2, I think, is very different, because I think there's more just teleportation. I feel like, right? Like they start in one city and then you go to the next.
And what, in the first game?
In the second game, like there's way less traversing distances. Like they're in Jackson and then suddenly they're in Seattle.
Yeah, that's the big one. But like when you're in Seattle, you're going everywhere.
No, I know.
In Seattle, which
you're
is
going around the whole
game.
city and whatnot. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, then you jump from Seattle back to Jackson.
There's more.
And then you jump from Jackson to Santa Barbara, Southern California, like There's the jumping between the major locations.
Yeah, there's more jumping. That's what I'm saying.
But in those locations, you're traveling everywhere.
Yes, it's thorough, but the process of getting there, it's not like season 1 where the whole process was getting from point A to point B.
Well, you still jump. You jump from Boston.
Yeah, you jump a little bit, I guess.
Bill, to Pittsburgh, to Colorado, no, to Wyoming, then to Colorado, then to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You're jumping. You're time jumping from city to city.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
there are more major time jumps.
State to state. Well, no, it was a hybrid.
Alice.
Boston, then Pittsburgh.
Still haven't finished season 1. Oh my gosh, get on that, Queen. Yeah. Do yourself a favor, and to brace. Just get the emotional damage rolling now. Before April 13th. I think that's the release date. Just get the ball rolling. Just kick it off. Kick this month off with the emo energy. Please, no more heartbreaking polls. We want happy polls. Says Jason. Trust me, after this, don't worry. I know every week we've been like, who's gonna survive Andor season? Is everyone dying in Andor season 2? And here we are now. Don't worry. Well, I can't actually say for sure because the rest of this month's discussion is just going to be the emotional fallout from all of these. So
I mean, Andor makes sense because Andor is the end. It's the end of the show. We know we're getting the ending. Granted, it goes right into Rogue One, which we know what happens in Rogue One. If you haven't seen Rogue One, go watch it. It's fantastic.
It's a little late, but if you haven't,
we know what happens in Rogue One. So like the tragedy, it's going to be tragic for most of these characters leading into Rogue One, especially Serial Boy, probably. But so like, it's the end of the show. It's the end of the majority of these characters. It goes right up into Rogue One, which is the end of literally all of these characters. So it'll be a conclusive ending of sadness. Versus The Last of Us will be brutal tragedy, but we know that it's not the end. We know there's going to be another season of the show.
We don't know where they're going to leave it off and where they're going to torment us. If it could be a cliffhanger. Like, there's risk here that this could be a cliffhanger gut punch ending that leaves us all just writhing in pain.
Because we know the rest of the second game.
Well, yeah, not cliffhanger for those of us who know the rest of the game, but just for the general public, that risk is there. Yeah. Well, we shall see, y'all. We have just a few short weeks until Last of Us, and then shortly after that, Andor. So it is kicking into high gear. So shout out. Fitting that we're literally starting off this month, April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day.
Yes.
With, reviewing the docket for what's to come. So much in store. It's the calm before the storm. And I clearly can't talk anymore, so we are going to sign off. But thank you guys. You may fire when ready. Yeah, for real. You may fire when ready. That's how it's going to be with Disney Plus and Max executives just pressing release on their episodes. Fire when ready and let everybody else just let the general public suffer as they watch.
Yep.
That's what's going to be happening. We're all just going to be commiserating, getting beat up from one show to the next. We're going to have Sundays and then Tuesdays and blah. Shockingly enough, Andor will probably be over before Last of Us. Yeah, I don't know. If it is only 6-episode season.
Andor's 4 weeks.
It is. That's going to be crazy.
Last of Us is more than
4
we're
just we're speed running our trauma for Andor. Did you end up watching War of the Rohirrim? Good call, Alice. I think I want to film a reaction to it. Hence why I've been putting it off. And then we just recently saw some trailers for it when we were watching some other stuff on HBO. So I think I'm going to film a reaction to it because I'm so overdue. And I regret that I never went to actually go see it and support it when it was in theaters. But now I can react to it. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for reminding me, Queen. TV, bringing us all together through our collective misery. Amen.
Great
Insidious.
To end it on, Lord Insidious.
Amen.
Great quote.
On that note, thank you all so very much for joining us on this lovely, it's technically spring, right? Happy spring. It's been spring, I think, but it really feels more like it when the clock strikes April. So happy spring, happy April, happy Andor, happy The Last of Us release months, happy celebration month. So much in store, so stay tuned. You will be sick of us by the end of it, come May. But until then, till next week, thank you guys so very much for watching. Next week is probably going to be our last episode before celebration, because then we're going to be in Japan.
Yeah,
so
we'd have to do it in Japan if we were going to do it. But
well, I think we're going to be living our best tourist lives. So don't hate us if we don't have an episode the week of celebration, but fear not, because we're going to do streams.
This time slot would be Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So we'll be on the move.
We'll still be doing streams.
We'll be on the move.
We'll still be doing you'll be seeing us. You'll be sick of us. So until next week, thank you guys so very much for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, morning, evening, 3 a.m., wherever you may be. And we will see you guys again very, very soon.
Adios.
Bye, guys.